Welcome to another edition of the More You NoCo podcast. That's all about the people and places of Northern Colorado.
All right. Hey, good morning. We are here today with Mike Howard with Hulk Addicts Hauling and Junk Removal. Mike, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to be here.
Pleasure to be here.
So, just kind of a fun podcast. We kind of hit about your company and want to get to learn a little bit more about that. Can you just walk us through how you started, how you kind of picked your business name?
Yeah, for sure. So business was started January the 7th of 2021 in the height of COVID. We started at the dead of winter, and it was just kind of out of happenstance. There's a couple reasons, but one of the main reasons was I just started seeing a need. People needed stuff hauled away, and started my business January 7th. I did my first initial video to launch it on Facebook, and the business was born into Hulk Addicts. So it's pretty cool, start to my business. And then I picked the name. I used to have a coffee business called Coffee Addicts, was like kind of my handle for Instagram. So that's kind of how I started with the addicts part of it. And with me being kind of a big guy, decided to go with the Hulk. I have a Hulk tattoo and decided to go with Hulk Addicts, just kind of all fit. And I wanted something that was going to be catchy for, customers to remember my name, brand recognition. And it was born from that. And so seeing the need, kind of wanted to fulfill that need, and then we took off from there. So
yeah, and I've known you for 6-7 years, right around there, and it's just been really cool to see you grow this idea and this business from the ground up, and it just seems like you're killing it right now.
Yeah, I mean, it literally started from nothing. I started with a truck and a trailer. I started with a little F-150 that I think I paid about $5 or $6 grand for, and then I had a trailer that I've had for years. And I knew that trailer was empty, so it was like time to start filling that up with people's junk and get it out of there. So it literally started from that to the point now where we've grown the company even further than that now, as we've kind of built some extra trailers in and some extra trucks, things like that.
Well, and your trucks and trailers are so recognizable.
Yeah.
I mean, just from the marketing standpoint, it's been cool. I mean, it sticks out. People know who it is, know who the company is. It's just been really a great way of advertising and marketing your business.
It really has been. I mean, first time I saw one of your trucks was like 4 days before we met for the first time when you came in. Cool. And I'm sitting at the intersection over here on Harmony, and I'm like, Hulk Addicts, that's a cool name. I wonder what that is. What's that guy do? That's it's like fully wrapped. It's really cool looking. And then when Brandon mentioned that we were meeting you, I was like, I got to find out what that is. So yeah, very recognizable. Yeah, that's great brand recognition.
So you started off with a small trailer and an F-150. Yeah. Where are you at now?
So where I'm at now is we have added on, I've got my big F-250 with a big old box in the back with it completely wrapped like we talked about, with a big 7x14 dump trailer. And that's my main rig that I use on a regular basis. But we're actually starting to grow now. We're getting ready to add another truck to the fleet. I'm getting ready to get my other 5x10 dump trailer back. Because I got rear-ended back in July, and we're still working on getting it fixed. So that's going to be added back to the fleet, adding this new truck to the fleet, and then eventually we're going to be adding another enclosed trailer, which is in the works in the next probably month or so. We'll be adding that to the fleet as well to start doing some of our demolition work that we do. So.
Just a ton of great growth, and obviously a huge void for a local business here in Northern Colorado that does the kind of work that you're doing with it.
Yeah, it's definitely, there's a lot of growth potential here with the amount of people that are moving into this area. Northern Colorado is one of the growingest areas that we have in the state. Greeley apparently is one of the top growing areas in this, at least in this area. So as we look at that growth, we want to be able to add and be able to service our customers, with that and be able to, to grow that. As customers start coming, as people start flooding this area, people are moving in and out constantly, which creates a lot of junk. So.
Yeah,
that's very true.
So you say you're going to add a new truck, right? I know you had a Ford F-150 and you have a Ford now. Yep. Are we going to stick with the Ford theme?
Right now we're sticking with the Ford theme. I don't know why that's kind of been the thing. I get a lot of grief about it of all the different descriptions of Fords, but right now that's just been our thing. And, I think it's all part of that brand recognition. I think that when people start seeing what we have, I think that's huge for us is like, hey, they know what we're coming in. They know what kind of vehicles we're in. They know that brand recognition of obviously the wrap is huge. It stands out. Creates a lot of questions with people. People ask me a lot of questions about what we do, which is great. But I think that it also just secures the fact of who we are, and so we just built that based off of that Ford product right now. Not saying down the road there couldn't be other things, but you know,
it's nice to have those trucks. It's funny because you actually have a fleet of trucks, and we had a real estate agent here years ago that bought a box truck, and so you buy or sell with me, use this truck for free, kind of thing.
Right.
But the brilliance of it was he had a magnetic sticker on the side that said truck like 1, and so he'd stick the truck on there, or the 1 on there, and then he'd take that off after about a week, and he'd put 7 on there, and then so it was funny because he'd get these comments like, "I see your trucks all over town." He's like, "Yep." He's got the 1 with a magnetic sticker on the side.
Yep.
So yeah, if you want a bigger fleet, you just invest in some magnets.
Just invest in some magnets. I'm about to start doing that. So
that's the point of that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree. So.
And you talked about brand consistency, right? Like we were just talking about the trucks. When they call you, they know what you're gonna show up in. And not only is that just the equipment, but they know the level of service that they're gonna get with Hulk, right? Yeah. And that's evidenced by your reviews on Google and Facebook. Tell us about those.
So currently right now, Google reviews and Facebook reviews, I keep up with all of those because they're important to me. They're near and dear to my heart because that's what customers find me from. Right now with Google, we have currently, as of today, we have 109 Google reviews, all 5-star. By the time this comes out, I'm hoping we're going to be at 115 to 20. But we keep track of all those things because it's huge, because I can tell my customers to go look us up on Google, or they just do it organically themselves. And they find me off of that. And I've had customers, I'd say a dozen to 2 dozen customers that literally pick me because I have the most Google reviews for junk removal companies in this area. And they're recent. They're not like, these were reviews that were 2 years ago. These are reviews that were literally yesterday or today. And they see the customers giving, solid statements of our business. And it's just a show of our work product, of what we do. And it's important for us, for all of our customers, that they do a review for us. Whether they do or don't, we ask that they do. And if they do, it just helps us out. Facebook, I think we have 28 reviews, if I remember correctly, on that. So all 5 stars. The 5-star thing is huge for me because I feel like when we bring that 5-star level of service, like the customer's getting the best experience they possibly can, or the person who referred them to us, they know they're going to be taken care of and that their referral is worthwhile. So, it's totally, it's huge for us. I mean, I love those Google reviews because it's just a statement of our business and what we do. And it kind of tells what our guys are doing. Their names are also in there. So when they show up, we're like, man, I remember seeing Derek or Juan's name in this Google review, and he's showing up at my door and doing the work. So that's huge as well. It also gives that level of comfort to the customer, knowing who's going to be at their door, who's going to be inside their house, because we do, service inside of people's houses. We take stuff out of their house, and that's their home, that's their curtilage, and we want to make sure that they feel comfortable.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that's something that's really big for Nathan and I, is the clients and people that we work with. We want to provide that highest level of service and customer care. And knowing you and your work ethic and the level of customer service that you provide for clients is huge. And that's a big reason that we wanted to partner with you and have you as one of our trusted service providers. As you know, obviously you're in both our sellers and buyer books, because we know, and that when we have a client that needs to get a job done, we need it to be done professionally and quickly and done right the first time. And we know that we can trust you with that. And that's been something that's great. I mean, is to have this partnership between us as realtors and also as you, that, hey, if we've got a listing coming up and we know that we need this job that's done right, we know that we can call you and count on you to get it done. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I tell realtors all the time, and I truly mean this, is that if you call me for a job and you're like, hey, I got a customer that needs to get some stuff out, that you can give me the lockbox code, that I'm gonna go in there to the house, be able to get the things out that you need to do, and also do it in a timely manner. And it's someone you can trust. That's that partnership with you guys as realtors, because you guys have such a timeline on a lot of your sales, or whether it be buyer or seller, that things have to get done. They have to get done with a certain time, and that if you call us, it's going to get done. And we pretty much, I tell my guys, if a realtor calls us, whether you guys call us to do a job, we're going to move our schedule around to be able to make sure that job is done, quickly and effectively. So that way you guys can get either the house on the market, or you can get that sale done, or the closings taken care of. We work extremely hard for you guys to make sure that's done, because we understand the importance of that. I had a realtor that called me at 7:30 at night,
And she she was like, I need this stuff out. If I don't get this stuff out, the buyer is they're not gonna get this house. And it had to be done before 12:30 the next day. I was there at 6:30 in the morning, less than 11 hours later, went and got all that stuff out, and she gave me a phenomenal review because of it, because I took that time and that extra effort to get it done. I mean, that's just how much it means to me to work with you guys, and I'm so excited about the partnership with you guys.
Yeah, and we are too, because there always comes up those circumstances when the seller's moved out, we're getting ready to close. We do a final walkthrough on a property maybe 24 hours before closing,
right?
Maybe 36 hours before closing. We walk in and there's a bunch of stuff, and the buyer says, "I'm not closing until this is out of here."
Yeah.
And there's been times in the past we've gone and picked up stuff and hauled it out of a house.
Right.
It's nice to have a partner that knows and understands the priority of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I think that to that point is that you guys have so much stuff that you're doing as realtors when it comes to that closing. The last thing you want to have to do is take your pickup truck and go start picking up stuff and hauling it off, going to the landfill. Takes you 3 or 4 hours when you could be doing other things that you need to be doing as a realtor, and you can call us to get it done and know it's going to be done that day. So that's huge.
Something that, obviously our listeners can tell right through this is just your work ethic and that entrepreneurial spirit with it. But obviously when anybody starts a business, no matter what the industry is, right, there's always kind of those fears and concerns because it's something new. Can you just kind of walk us through if you had any of those and just how you built that business and overcome those? Because obviously, you built this from the ground up. This was your idea. This was kind of your baby, and it's just taken off right now.
Yeah, so I mean, like you said, I literally started from the ground up. I literally have no investors. I still don't have any investors in the business. I had no money going into this to start this business. I mean, it takes a ton of dedication just to between the Facebook and the websites and everything else, and then also in front of the customers and letting the customers trust you. It takes a ton of work. And then I went from having a full-time job, working this part-time for about 5 or 6 months till I made that transition into a full-time deal. There's definitely a lot of nervousness. You're leaving some security there, but you're also kind of trusting in yourself that, because I am such a hard worker, I try to make sure that I get out there and I really get after it when it comes to my business and, to do these jobs. So I knew that when I left my full-time business, full-time income, the 401k and all the typical stuff that you get with a job, that when I left that, I knew that I was going to be able to make that transition pretty easily. But there was still that fear. And honestly, it's been almost a year now, and I still have those fears. I still have those trust issues of myself, like, all right, can I still do this? But you just got to keep day after day. You take the good with the bad. If you have a bad day, I know the next day is going to be better, or even the next phone call is going to be better. So you got to trust that process and just keep pushing and not let the negativity, because the negativity will eat you up. The negativity of being a business owner will eat you up if you allow it. But you just got to keep pushing. You got to keep driving. With you guys being real estate agents, y'all have been through that. You know what it's like of when that next buyer or seller is coming, when that next, you may have a closing today, but you might not have another one for 3 or 4 months, and that's stressful. So, that's not obviously the end goal, but you have those stresses for sure. But I've just been able to overcome those things just by knowing how I work.
And I think that's one of my most favorite things about your company is this is like the American success story, right? This company was built off of hard work and dedication to it, and it's just been cool to see that get built and grow, and it's just an awesome story, I think.
And faith in yourself to do it. I mean, that's absolutely the opportunities that we have in this country is to be able to look at that and say there's opportunities everywhere if we were just to open our eyes and see them.
Yeah.
And then to trust in yourself that, you can go make that work and then put in the hard work to pull that off.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's absolutely one of the reasons that we wanted you in the books and so forth, was because that shines through.
Yeah.
And that really shines through for clients and customers as well, who know that you're dedicated to what they need and are going to bring great levels of service. So that's been tremendous,
It's kind of like that saying that nobody ever starts at the top of the mountain, right?
No.
Is you've got to work hard and put in the time and the effort to be successful. And it's just really cool to see people do that and businesses do that and make it.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of times people see from the outside, they look at it and it's like, man, look what Mike's done. He's got this truck, his trailer, he's got this advertisement, he's got all these things going on. But there's every day there's ups and downs. I mean, there's times when you start climbing that mountain, just like you're talking about, and you slide all the way back down to the bottom again, or at least you mentally you feel like that, and you just got to keep going, because eventually you're going to get to the top. You're going to, and honestly, like in my business, I don't ever feel like there's going to be a ceiling. Like I just have this constant growth factor that I have within myself. But definitely times when you definitely slide back down, for sure, without a doubt. So just got to keep pushing, so.
Persistence for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt.
That's something that's kind of neat too, is just there's unlimited growth potential. I mean, you had hit on it with how many people that are moving into the area and out. And before we had started recording here, you were telling us about a huge job that you've got coming up. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I partnered with a property management company not that long, back, I guess, over the summer, and it just happened to go up to the front door. I was doing a job for a client that was inside of their apartment complex, and so I was like, hey, my name is Mike. I think I even have my old business cards. I'm like, my name is Mike. I own Hulk Addicts Hauling and Junk Removal. I'd love to help you guys out if you ever have a clean out or anything like that. And so the lady was like, oh, yeah, sure. She took my business card. I walked back, and I'm kind of like a little deflated because she wasn't really excited. I'm all excited to give this business card out. And so I was just like, okay, whatever. So I went and talked to my buddy Pat, who was helping me on the job that day. And all of a sudden, the property manager comes out, and she's like, hey. And she like comes out, yelling at me. I'm like, oh, great. She's going to kick me off the property, all this stuff. She's like, well, what do you guys take? And so I start telling her, hey, we take appliances, we take, refrigerators, and I'm just naming all this stuff that we do. And she's like, oh, okay. Well, she calls me back, and she's been a great client from here. But she calls me back for a clean out, and she was so impressed with our business that when I did the job, she's like, you're not paying yourself enough for what you did. And I'm like, I'm charging what I feel comfortable charging. And she goes, I want you to add another $1,000 onto that bill. And like, she was just super ecstatic about our service and the quality of service. And, for me, like, that was just what I do. Like, it wasn't nothing special. So from that, we built this relationship. So now we've got a big, huge clean out that I've been working with since September with her, with trying to get these storage units out. Right now it's 21 storage units. Each of those storage units have anywhere from a trailer to 3 trailers. And when I talk about my trailer, we really didn't go in detail about my trailer, but it's about 15 yards worth of material that goes into this dump trailer. Like, it's a big dump trailer. And so if you can equivalent one of the roll-off dumpsters, that's basically kind of the size you compare. And so it's a significant job. We're looking at 45 trailers to come out of this place. And so it's my biggest job to date. And so I'm really excited about this. I'm getting the go-ahead to do it, and we're going to get it done. And it's just, it's an awesome opportunity to do such a large-scale job. So it's definitely exciting. So that's where I went from a small little trailer and truck to now we're cleaning out 21 storage units full of, only goodness, don't even know what's in there, to be honest with you. Don't know what we're walking into. So,
and that's something, I mean, you can just feel, people want to work with positive, energetic people, and you can feel that here right now. And so, I mean, that translates directly into your business as well. But I got a question. So I had heard a rumor on this that I want to ask you about. So,
oh boy.
Just the fun, positive atmosphere, the personality that you bring to work every day. I heard that you've got kind of this special relationship with quite a few guys that work down at the dump, and just they love seeing you coming in.
Yeah, absolutely we do. We have some great people that we work with at the landfill, and they love seeing my truck and trailer coming in, and so it's an awesome partnership that we have with them. I mean, they love the stuff that we do. They love our business. Cheer me on as I come in the landfill sometimes. It's actually pretty crazy. There's a guy named Brian. He's one of the directors down there. And then we got another one. He gave me a Hulk figurine. I should have brought it in here today. I didn't even bring it in. It's sitting in my truck. We call him Hulky. So he's my little action figurine for the business. It sits on my dash, and it just reminds me of just people that have been good to me through my business. So it's pretty cool. So
and that's what I've heard. Like, people down at the dump are excited when they see the Hulk Addicts truck and trailer come in. They're like, they just get pumped that he's bringing it in. So, why not ask Mike about that next time?
Absolutely. And one thing that, we just do little things for them too. Like, those guys are out there in the middle of the heat. It's hot out there in the summer. It's cold out in the winter. You throw them a gift card to a coffee company or whatever else, man. you've made their day. And it's just those little things, because I appreciate what they do. They don't get, it's a thankless job of what they do, because they're in the middle of standing in the middle of the mud, the wind, the nastiness, the snow, whatever, and they don't get appreciated like they need to. And they have a hard job. And then also dealing with the customers on top of that, because it's not just the residential customers, you got the commercial customers that come in, and they can be, hard to deal with sometimes. So it's like, if we can make their day a little bit better when we leave there, they do get excited about when I'm coming in, so. And that's just who I am, I just try to bring that excitement. I try to bring that fun, that positivity. Life's too short. You can't be negative. You got to be positive.
That's right.
That's awesome. That's a great attitude of gratitude, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, that just adds to that energy level of just, really looking for opportunities to find people to thank for what they do.
Yeah.
And, out of everybody that I could think of, that probably would have been at the bottom of the list for somebody to go out and say, hey, I really appreciate what you do. But when you bring it up like that, it's like, yeah, I absolutely appreciate what those people do. Yeah. And yeah, you're right. That's a tough job.
It is.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
No.
Well, it's a tough job, and I'm sure it's a pretty thankless job too.
Yeah. Who flags them down to say thank you for crushing up the garbage or whatever? And nobody really thinks of that.
No. And they're standing out in the, literally, like the wind's blowing. I've literally gotten hit by stuff that flies off of trailers, and they're in the middle of it constantly, standing out there, where I'm like, all right, let's get this thing unloaded. Let me get back in my truck and get back in my air conditioner or my heat, and then I'm getting out of here. But those guys don't get a chance to do that. So yeah, it's definitely a thankless position, but I do truly appreciate those guys. I can name all the directors that are there, so it's pretty cool. So our relationship has been pretty good.
Good. Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Where do you, obviously you're based up here in northern Colorado. What's your service area?
So we do everything from North Wellington, Livermore, out to Red Feather, Estes Park, obviously Fort Collins, Loveland, all the main Tri-City kind of area, Windsor, out to Greeley and Evans, and then we go down as far as Longmont right now. We do special jobs where we go further than that, but I don't really advertise that. That's not really something it's special jobs. If I've got a realtor's like, hey, I just happened to get a listing that's down North Denver, and it's one of my good, partnered realtors, I'll do it for them, otherwise I'd probably refer it out. But yeah, so that's kind of our main service area that we work on a regular basis. So yeah.
And I'm curious too, so you get called by a customer and you go out there, and do you do or give estimates based off of how much stuff there is, or if it's awkward shapes or sizes, or how do you kind of give an accurate quote?
It's hard sometimes, because sometimes stuff is, you're right, things are awkward. It's not everything is like a perfect cube. Because we go by cubic yards. So cubic yard is 3 by 3 by 3, so 3 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot. So basically, if you think of a washer or a dryer, that's a 1 cubic yard. That's kind of roughly what you can think of there. And so basically, in my dump trailer, I can fit 15 washer and dryers in there. That's kind of if you want to think of it that way. So we base it off about how much space it takes up in our trailer, and we broke our trailer down, and from a single item or several small items is a minimum load, up to a full trailer price, and then there's a broken down to quarters, halves, 3/4 in between there. So that way it gives different price points for customers, that they don't feel like they're paying for an entire trailer load, when they didn't fill a whole entire trailer. They're getting the most bang for their buck. And I try to be fair with customers. I'm always like, I always give the advantage to the customer. I never give the advantage to the company, so that way that the customer feels like they get the most bang for their buck.
You get called to these houses and they've got paint or other household chemicals, or maybe appliances that have hazardous material in it. Do you do any hazardous waste?
No, we don't currently right now, just because of the regulations, just because I don't want to have those things if I get involved in an accident and I've got, a ton of gasoline, or I got a significant amount of oil, stuff like that. I try to steer away from that, and that's just because of the way my setup is. We have too much of a mixed load on my trailer to really secure those things, and it's just not properly stored and secured, and so I don't touch on paints and chemicals, things like that right now. Now we will take things like Freon items, so like refrigerators, air conditioning units, things like that. We do take those because those do have Freon in them, but those are all contained and stuff like that, so it's not a big deal. But yeah.
Well, makes sense. Does everything that you pick up end up at the landfill? Do you take any recycle steel any place, or does it just everything go to?
No, not everything goes to the landfill. We do our best to be able to recycle, and especially this day and age, with there's being so much stuff that can be recycled. And now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot that does go to the landfill, but any metal, things like that, all that, for the most part, maybe some smaller pieces that we miss or whatever, don't get recycled. But everything that is, viable metal that we can actually recycle, we will recycle. Cardboard, that's kind of another one that it's hit or miss. If they're a bunch of broken down cardboard boxes already, I'll take them and recycle them for them. But if they're big, huge chunks, I don't have time. I just don't have time to do it right now, unfortunately. I wish there was a better system. In fact, I'm going to start working on that's something I want to work on, because we do, I mean, I'd say 40% of our business has got some kind of cardboard in it. I mean, it's just a large amount of literally done full trailer loads of cardboard. So if we can try to find a way to make that, reduce that impact on the landfill, because the landfill is going to be capped out at the end of this year. So at least the Larimer County landfill that's right on Taft is going to be capped out. So they're going to be having a transfer station or something to that effect. So we need to keep that out of the landfill as much as possible. Sure. And it's kind of cool because actually now they're actually mining for metal now, because they realize it's such a commodity. That they're actually mining for metal in certain locations across the United States, because that's what they used to do, is just dump it in the landfills. Yeah,
a lot of cars and stuff.
Cars and stuff like that they used to put in there all the time. So now it's a bit different story. So, but yeah, we recycle as much as we possibly can. Doesn't mean everything gets. I'll be honest with that with customers, So, but yeah, and then we also do donations and stuff like that. So if a customer specifically asks me, hey, can you take this couch? It's still in really good shape. If I feel like I can donate it, I'll donate it. That way it doesn't go to the landfill. So those are the little things that we try to do to help out the customer, help out the environment a little bit, as well. So awesome. Yeah, because we're not here to make it more dirty. So we're trying to make it better.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah.
So we were just talking here on the break, and Mike, you are playing football for
Yes.
the NoCo Nightmare.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So I've been coaching Little League football for years, for like 20 years. I coached Little League and high school football, and I've been coaching here in Northern Colorado for a long time. And in the midst of that coaching, some of the referees, they look like pretty in shape guys. And at one of our games last year, and our head coach is like, well, those are the guys that play for the NoCo Nightmare. I'm like, well, what's the NoCo Nightmare? He's like, well, it's a semi-pro team based out of Greeley. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I went up to him and jokingly, I was like, hey guys, looks like you guys play football. Do you guys take old guys for your team? And at the time I was 39, I'm 40 now. And they were like, absolutely, we take old guys. And of course they're 28, 29 years old. I'm like, no. Like, I'm almost 40 years old. Like, I'm not talking about, 20-year-old. I'm talking about, 40. So yeah, so I went out for the team. I started working with those guys. They invited me on. Now I'm gonna be playing for the team, which is super exciting to play full 11-on-11 football again. Never thought I'd be able to do that again. But it all kind of comes back to, my spirit as an entrepreneur, and just taking chances. I took the chance that I could do this again, and I had a lot of doubts, like a ton of doubts. I still have doubts, but I know that I can overcome those things. And hitting another grown man on a football field at 40 years old, it doesn't feel as good as it used to. It hurts a little bit more. And but I mean, I'm excited about playing left guard, number 56 on NoCo Nightmare, and so definitely excited about our games. We have some games coming up. Actually, our first preseason game is actually going to be on May the 14th at Severance High School on the turf field there. Encourage anybody if they want to come out. And then our first home opener game is May 21st. They're both at 6:45 as a start time if you want to come see some really good football. Super patriotic group of guys and gals that are on this team. It's a very family-oriented business. A football team, I mean, it is a business technically, but a football team. It's all like everything that we do is we have to pay to get into here. There's no reimbursement for anything and all like that. We pay for our equipment. We do get our jerseys, but it's for the love of the game, man. It's just getting back out on the field and proving to myself and to other people that I can do it again has been huge.
That's cool.
So you play, is this all within Colorado, or do you travel, and how far?
Yeah, so we do. We play in Colorado. There have been times in the past where they have gone down to Texas Stadium. They played at Dallas Cowboys Stadium back in 2019, got to play on their field. They got invited down there for a big game, and so they went down to that. But most of our games are here on the Front Range, so everywhere from northern Colorado, Greeley is where we normally play at District 6, all the way down to Pueblo. So that's kind of the rough area where we go. We have 4 home games for the regular season and 4 away games, and then there's a 3-game series at the end for the playoffs. So broken down into the each division and everything, and then a championship first part of August. So we have a total of, I guess that's 12 games this year, including our preseason game. So
it'd be a lot of fun to go out and watch
Oh, yeah.
people playing the sport because of the love of the game.
For the love of the game.
Yeah, a lot of difference. It's I would imagine it'd be really exciting based on just, you're looking at Pro Bowl versus like College Bowl, and College Bowl, those guys are kind of fearless and so forth, and just totally different than kind of protecting your career in Pro Bowl. So that would be a great combination. It'd be really fun to watch.
And we got guys on the team that are D1 athletes. We got a guy that used to start for CSU as an offensive tackle. He now plays defense for us. We've got guys that have played in Arena League. So we've got some legit athletes that are extremely athletic. I wouldn't consider myself necessarily one of those guys that are super athletic, but I'm kind of fast and strong and can handle my own inside the line. But just guys that have either played in high school, college, maybe even some kind of semi-pro type level before, and even, like I said, into the D1 college level. So it's a lot of fun. Tickets are really cheap to our games. They're like $12 per adult to go and see some great football.
Yeah.
We had 1,500 fans at our last home game for the championship last year, and we're hoping that we're going to start off with that and build it from this year and just really pack that stadium out, because it's just good football. The kids love it. We become, they're our biggest fans out there. So these kids love coming down. They high five us after the games. They see us out. We referee their games, so that you see the NoCo Nightmare guys out refereeing their Little League football games. It's really cool that they see us on the field refereeing or coaching. Like I don't referee because I coach. But they get to see us on the football field and actually see us playing. So it's a fun time. So if you got a chance to go check it out, I would. So
that's really cool. And left guard, right?
Yeah, left guard.
Tiny guy like you.
Tiny guy.
120, 130 pounds. What does your left arm weigh?
It's roughly around there. Yeah, about 120, 130. I don't know.
That is really cool.
So yeah, come check us out.
All right, so you brought it up. That's why I feel comfortable asking it. So, how oldest guy on the team that's playing?
46.
Okay, and what's the youngest?
Youngest is 18.
Wow.
So they have to be 18 to play. So 18, 19 is about the youngest on our team. Average age probably 23, 24 years old. We have a bunch of 30-year-olds as well. So I'm the third oldest on the team. We have a 46, a 43, and I'm 40. So yeah, we used to have a 51-year-old, I think. So
boy,
yeah.
That would be cool.
I can't imagine playing football at my age. I would not be able to get out of bed for a week. That'd be it.
So, of course, everybody tells you to go out here and be careful. I'm like, I'm just going to take my chances. You only live once, and you just got to take life by the horns and just hang on and go, just have some fun. So,
boy, definitely something that would be really cool to check out. An opportunity here in northern Colorado.
Yeah, for sure.
See some excellent football and. Something, playing during the summer.
Yeah.
You can almost have football year round now.
Yes, you totally can.
In Colorado.
Especially for you fanatics out there that they miss football all year long, and they get to come see some really good football. One of the biggest questions that we get asked is whether or not we kneel for the national anthem or not, and that's absolutely not. We're going to stand for the national anthem, and we're very patriotic when it comes to it. In July, we actually have a Salute to Service night where we honor all of our service members, whether it be police, fire, EMS, military, everything. We got some cool surprises. I don't want to release those out of the bag yet. That's coming up for that, so it's really cool. So.
Awesome. And where will that game be played?
That's going to be at District 6. That will be at District 6 right there in Greeley. Okay. So it's basically the home field for all of the Greeley high schools and turf field out there. So yeah, come check us out. It's you won't be disappointed, I promise.
That sounds like a fun night. For a good cause and a lot of great football.
Yep. Yeah. You can go check us out at NoCo Nightmare. I think it's NoCoNightmare.com. Google us, and it will pop right up. We're on Facebook. Follow us on Facebook for all the updates and stuff like that. We'll post videos. We're on YouTube, all that type of stuff as well.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's cool.
Well, back to the business. You've got to have some interesting stories about some interesting things that you found on job sites, or just interesting projects altogether.
Yeah. So one of the cool projects that we did a big clean out of a house. It was a demolition job. It was kind of a combination of junk removal but demolition, and it was an old house from the early 1900s. And we started tearing off the walls to this house, and because I didn't really touch on this, but our business we do two different things: is demolition and also junk removal. So we kind of have split that a little bit. But one of our demolition jobs is we started tearing out the lath and plaster on the walls and got in behind the studs. And we started finding old newspapers inside of the walls from the early 1900s. Like, you're looking at some extremely old stuff and,
cool.
And some old paperwork and letters from people. And it just like some very, archaic type stuff that is going to go into the museum for the house. And it was a cool project that we got to be a part of. And, our guys were able to preserve some of that stuff. We were really delicate with it, and we were able to preserve that and give it to the homeowner. To be able to have something as from that house. It's just a cool piece of history that, you know, you would have never found if you didn't start doing, you know, digging and stuff like that. So that was one of the cool ones that
is super
that I found with the house.
You hear those kind of stories where people are remodeling or whatever an old house and they find they used anything for insulation back then.
Yeah,
you know, you just didn't go down to Home Depot and grab yourself some, you know, R19 and put it in your walls.
Right,
it was, what do we got?
Right.
So you hear of movie posters, comic books. I mean, it's amazing what people pull out of walls. So it's so cool that you were part of that and got to see that firsthand.
Yeah, for sure.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and the homeowner was super excited to see some of this stuff when he was able to get a hold of it, and even some letters and things that were written in there that we were able to save. And it was just neat to go through and see someone's history and see, you know, things they saved. Why did they save these things? What were the reasonings and why they did what they did? And they probably never thought about it. You know, it's just like now we throw stuff away and not even think about it. But 100 years from now, those things are really neat. So
yeah, very cool.
So we've got the strangest thing or the most unique thing ever found. What is the heaviest thing?
Oh, the heaviest thing. Man, we've picked up some pretty heavy stuff. We actually had a couch sale today that was probably one of the heaviest couches I've ever picked up. It was a fold-out couch, and I know this sounds like nothing exciting, but it was literally the heaviest couch I've ever picked up in my life. It was all me and my guy could do to get it out. It had one of those really heavy foam beds that folded out, and it was all me and him could do to get it through the house. It was probably one of the heaviest couches I've literally ever picked up and never want to pick it up again. So pianos definitely are some of the heavier things too as well. Pianos are really difficult for us to pick up for sure. So I've had some nasty stuff too. So
you've got an Instagram.
Yes.
So what's your handle?
Go to at Hulk Addicts Junk for my Instagram and at Hulk Addicts for my Facebook.
And then you've also got a TikTok.
I do have a TikTok as well.
So one of the things, go and check it out on there. I mean, there is a video of you pulling out a clothesline that is like concreted down into the ground on there.
Funny, I'll tell you a funny story about that.
I got to hear that.
Yeah, so we had a customer called me and said, "Hey, I got a clothesline pole that I need you guys to get out." And I'm like, "All right." My son was doing his baseball tryout, so I ran up. It was literally a mile down the road. It's a repeat customer. I'm like, "Yep, don't worry, Trista, I got it. I'll come up there and take care of it for you." So I get there. Well, they had dug this entire hole all the way around. I mean, it's a foot on each side. They had dug out. I'm like, "What's wrong with this pole?" Well, it had like 3 feet of concrete on the other end of it, and
they didn't want it to go anywhere.
And they couldn't. Yeah, they didn't want it to go anywhere. They could not get it out, and so there is a TikTok. If you go on my TikTok, you'll see one of those. I think it's on my Facebook page down in there and Instagram. But yeah, I had to pick that thing up, and I literally had to get on top of some logs and squat it up to lift it up out of the ground by myself because I had nobody to help me. And then I was able to use everything I had, and I pulled it out of the ground, and then I later drug it to the front with a dolly, drug it to the front yard and set in the front yard. Well, the next day, we were leaving to go to Mexico. And funny story about this pole is it's pretty heavy. I got it over into the trailer, and I rolled it over. Well, at the time, I'm wearing steel-toe boots now, but at the time, I was wearing Hey Dudes. And I just was like, well, I'll just get this done, and we're going on vacation. Well, the piece, because it's round concrete, started rolling and rolled and like hit my toe. And I'm pretty sure I broke my toe. Needed some stitches, but we were leaving from Mexico the next day, and I was like, I don't have time to do that. So that pole ended up breaking my toe.
Nobody got time for that.
And so it kind of initially started to ruin my vacation, not feeling so well after dropping it on your toe. But that was one of the heaviest. That was probably one of the heavier things that I've actually picked up now that I think about it by myself.
I mean, the video is just incredible. Mike's biceps are the size of my chest, and here he is just giving this pole everything it's got. And I'm like, how heavy is this thing? I mean, it was incredible to watch. I mean, just from sheer brute strength to how heavy a clothesline pole could be.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't
with that much concrete.
You wouldn't think. Yeah, I mean, but it's that much concrete, and it's just huge.
And it was square tube. It was like square tubing, so it wasn't like just regular metal either. It was square tubing. It was just super. I mean, it was 3 inches on each side, so it was just a huge piece. And yeah. They weren't going anywhere with that clotheslines. I don't know what they were hanging up.
Something heavy.
They were definitely something heavy on that. So
didn't want their clothes blowing off.
Yeah.
Hurricane and earthquake proof.
Absolutely, here in Colorado.
Yeah.
You never know when those hurricanes are coming through in Colorado.
Well, where do you see the business going in 5 years? I mean, you've had this massive growth from when it started. Where is it going to be in 5 years?
Oh man, so I think about this a lot actually, because I want to stay, obviously grow from being local to growing definitely through the state of Colorado, at least in the Front Range, because the amount of growth is there. I definitely foresee us having 4 to 5, even maybe up to 7 trucks and trailers, or some kind of trucks involving Hulk Addicts, running around through everywhere from northern Colorado all the way down to Pueblo. There's some things in the works right now that I don't want to reveal, but we're working on some stuff right now, and just that growth factor that we want to have. We want to be the leading junk removal company, but the biggest thing that I struggle with is, especially here in northern Colorado, is people are all about buying local. They're about buying from a local mom and pop or from a local business that gives back to the community, and Hulk Addicts has been able to do that, because you got your big companies we don't really want to touch on, but the 1-800 Got Junks and the Junk Kings and things like that are nationwide companies. Actually, 1-800 Got Junk is out of Canada and the U.S. So they're a big company, and everybody knows their name. It's brand recognition, but they're not local, even though they're local guys. So I want to still keep that small town local feel no matter what I do. So that's the biggest thing that I struggle with, and just making sure we keep that. This is all about the community, giving back, and I think Hulk Addicts has done a good job of just be able to give back. I mean, I've told my story of what I do and how I've given back to the community, and that's huge for me. So,
and then I think just kind of to wrap it up, what advice would you give yourself if you were to go back over and start all over again?
10x it. When you started, 10x whatever you did. Don't hold back. Don't wait for the next best thing. Just go out there and get it. Push yourself a little bit harder, a little bit faster. I would tell myself that now too, because I'm at a place where I want that growth factor, and don't be afraid to take those steps, because I was afraid to take some of those steps. And what happened with me initially is I got nervous, because I was making these contacts with realtors and property management companies and these businesses, and I was 2 weeks out. I'm like, man, I should have left 2 months, 3 months before I ever did. And I left in June. I started the business in January. I left my full-time job in June. And I had made that decision in March, but I didn't enact on it. So I'd say 10x whatever I was doing then, and really just push and grow, because the quicker you can grow, the better off it's going to be. Well, and I believe this. I believe that we are the best company to take care of customer service for our customers, and I don't want other people taking care of my customers. So I want my company taking care of my customers, and the more people I can reach, the more people I can touch, the more families that I can make an impact on. So, and I know we do the best, and we believe in that. So it's not being cocky, it's just being confident in what we do and believing in that. Are there other great companies out there? Absolutely, of course there are. And I work with some great companies, but I just believe we're the best. So just have that confidence in yourself that you can 10x whatever you did. So
awesome. Well, Mike, thanks so much for coming in and taking some time and talking to us
yes,
today.
Awesome.
But so can this wrap this up? But best way of people getting a hold of you?
You can send me a message on Facebook. You can go to @Hulk Addicts and check us out on Facebook. You can send me a messenger there. But my phone number is plastered everywhere. It's literally my work number. It's my cell number, whatever, is 970-381-1176. You can call me, text me at any time. Send us a message if you have anything you need to get rid of. We're glad to come out there, give you free estimates. Even with gas prices $5 a gallon, we'll still come out and give you a free estimate. And so we'll come out there and give you a free estimate on anything. So just give us a call. You can also check us out at hulkaddictsjunk.com. There's our website. We just rebuilt our website, so go check it out. It's actually pretty cool. There's some cool stuff on there. So I'd encourage you to go look it up, and you can also reach us through there as well. So
great company, even greater owner.
Well, absolutely. Well, thank you, Mike, for being on the podcast. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a pleasure to partner with other people that value the customer service like you do. So thanks a bunch.
Absolutely.
Great information.
I appreciate the opportunity. It's great.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure.